The Galactic Empire, the most powerful force in the universe, had conquered hundreds of planets across the galaxy. Their technology was far more advanced than anything most species could imagine. For centuries, they had ruled without challenge. When they turned their attention to Earth, the Empire's leaders didn't see it as a threat. In fact, they found Earth amusing. From the far reaches of space, the Empire had been watching Earth for years. They observed human technology, their cities, their armies, and their spaceships. To the Empire, it was like watching children play with toys. Human spaceships were small, slow, and weak compared to the massive battleships of the Empire. The Empire's soldiers laughed at Earth's attempts to explore space. They saw humans as nothing more than an inexperienced species struggling to survive in the galaxy. The Emperor himself, a cold and arrogant leader, looked at reports about Earth and dismissed them with a wave of his hand. "They are nothing. Just another weak planet. It will be easy to take control," he said. His advisors nodded in agreement. No one in the Empire believed that Earth could resist them. The humans had no idea what real power looked like. One of the Empire's top commanders, Admiral Kale, was chosen to lead the mission to conquer Earth. He was known for his ruthless tactics and quick victories. He had defeated countless enemies across the galaxy, and he saw Earth as just another easy target. "We will crush them within a day," he said confidently to his crew as they prepared to depart for Earth. As the Empire's fleet approached Earth, they watched the planet closely. Earth's defense systems were outdated and weak by the Empire's standards. The humans had some satellites and a few small space stations, but nothing that could challenge the mighty fleet of the Empire. "This will be over before it even begins," one of the Empire's officers said with a smirk. On Earth, humans were well aware of the Empire's presence in the galaxy. Scientists and governments had been monitoring strange signals from space for years. They knew the Empire was powerful, and they knew the day would come when the Empire would take notice of them. But unlike the Empire, Earth was not afraid. The humans had prepared for this day, though they had kept their greatest secret hidden. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in secret bases hidden in the oceans and mountains, something ancient slept. This secret was passed down through human history, guarded by a select few. Earth's leaders knew that one day they might need to awaken this ancient force, but for now, they remained silent. The Empire, however, knew nothing of this. They continued to laugh at Earth. Admiral Kyle sent a message to Earth's leaders demanding immediate surrender. His tone was condescending, as if speaking to children. "Surrender now, and your people will be spared," he said. "Resist, and you will face the full power of the Galactic Empire." Earth's leaders gathered in a secret meeting. They knew the Empire expected an easy victory. They knew the Empire saw them as weak. But Earth's leaders had a different plan. After a long discussion, they decided to send a simple message back to the Empire: "We are ready." Admiral Kale received the message and laughed. "They think they're ready?" he scoffed. "They have no idea what's coming." He gave the order to his fleet to prepare for invasion. The Empire's ships moved into position around Earth, ready to strike. But as they approached, they remained unaware of the danger that lurked beneath the surface of the planet. The Empire believed Earth was weak. They believed victory would come quickly. But they were wrong. Very wrong. Soon they would learn that humanity had secrets even they could not imagine. The real battle was about to begin. The Galactic Empire's fleet, led by Admiral Kale, hovered in Earth's orbit like a predator waiting to strike. Their ships were massive, sleek, and armed with weapons that could destroy cities in seconds. On Earth, people watched the sky nervously. They knew the Empire had come, but Earth's leaders still hoped for a peaceful solution. War was not their first choice. In a hidden underground bunker, Earth's leaders gathered for an urgent meeting. They discussed what to do next. The president of Earth's United Defense Coalition, a calm but strong leader, stood at the head of the table. "We need to try and talk to them," he said. "Perhaps we can avoid bloodshed." The president sent a message to the Empire asking for a meeting. They offered peace and cooperation, hoping the Empire would see reason. Earth's leaders didn't want war, especially against such a powerful enemy. They believed in diplomacy, hoping to avoid unnecessary destruction. But Admiral Kale was not interested in peace. He saw Earth's message as a sign of weakness. "Typical humans," he muttered to his officers. "They're begging for mercy." He agreed to the meeting, but only to mock them. A small human ship was sent to the Empire's flagship, carrying Earth's diplomats. The diplomats were nervous but determined. They believed if they could just reason with the Empire, Maybe they could avoid disaster. The shuttle landed inside the Empire's ship, and the human diplomats were escorted to the Grand Hall where Admiral Kale waited. The room was huge, with dark metal walls and glowing lights that made the humans feel small. Admiral Kale stood at the center, his eyes cold and mocking. He didn't even bother to sit down. The human diplomats approached him, trying to stay calm. "We come in peace," one of them began, their voice steady. "We want to avoid conflict. Perhaps we can find common ground." Kale's lips curled into a cruel smile. "Peace?" he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You think you can offer us peace?" His laughter echoed in the room. The human diplomat stood there, stunned by his reaction. "We are not your enemies," the diplomat continued, trying to keep control. "We can work together. We are willing to cooperate with the Empire. All we ask is that you respect our planet." Kale's smile faded, replaced by a look of disdain. "Respect your planet? You are nothing but insects compared to us. Your world is a backwater, primitive and weak. We don't need your cooperation. We don't need anything from you." He stepped closer, his eyes narrowing. "You will surrender or you will be destroyed. Those are your only choices." The human diplomats exchanged worried glances. They had hoped for a better outcome. But it was clear now that the Empire wasn't interested in peace. One of the diplomats, gathering all his courage, spoke up. "If you attack us, you will regret it. Earth is stronger than you think." Kale's eyes flashed with anger. "Is that a threat?" he growled. "You dare threaten the Galactic Empire?" He turned to his officers. "Prepare the fleet for invasion," he ordered. "We will crush these fools." The diplomats, realizing they had failed, quickly left the ship and returned to Earth. As soon as they landed, they reported the bad news to Earth's leaders. "The Empire won't negotiate," one of them said. "They plan to invade." Back on his flagship, Admiral Kale prepared his forces for war. "These humans have no idea what's coming," he said with a smirk. "They will be wiped out by the end of the day." But Earth's leaders were not shaken. They knew the time for diplomacy had passed. The president stood before the gathered military commanders. "We gave them a chance," he said. "Now we must prepare for the worst. They think we're weak, but soon they'll learn the truth." As the Empire's ships began to move into attack formation, Earth's greatest secret was about to be revealed. The real battle was about to begin. The Galactic Empire's fleet was now moving into position, ready to strike Earth. The massive ships loomed in orbit, their weapons aimed at major cities, military bases, and strategic locations. Admiral Kale stood on the bridge of his flagship, confident that the humans would soon be begging for their lives. He had no doubt that Earth would fall like so many other planets before it. On Earth, however, something extraordinary was happening. Deep underground, in secret bunkers and hidden bases, ancient machines were awakening. The technology had been kept hidden from the public for thousands of years, known only to a few select leaders. The ancient fleet had been built by a forgotten civilization that once thrived on Earth long before the rise of modern humanity. The fleet was far more advanced than anything the Empire had ever seen, but it had been locked away, waiting for the day it would be needed again. The time had come. In a massive underground command center, Earth's military leaders were gathered around a large screen, watching as the ancient systems came to life. The president of Earth's United Defense Coalition stood at the front, his face serious. "Activate the fleet," he ordered, his voice calm but firm. All across the planet, in deep ocean trenches, hidden mountain bases, and underground vaults, the ancient ships began to rise. Huge metal doors opened beneath the sea, and gigantic ships, long buried under the ocean floor, slowly surfaced. Their hulls were sleek and dark, covered in strange symbols and glowing lights. These ships were unlike anything Earth's modern military had ever built. They were faster, stronger, and equipped with powerful weapons that could rival the Empire's technology. The Empire's fleet, still in orbit, picked up strange readings on their sensors. Admiral Kale frowned as he looked at the data. "What is this?" he muttered. He hadn't expected any resistance from Earth, but now something was happening that he didn't understand. His officers scrambled to make sense of the new signals. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy surges all over the planet," one of them reported. Suddenly, the surface of the ocean below them began to ripple. Huge waves crashed against the shores as the ancient ships rose from the depths. The Empire's sensors went wild as more and more ships appeared, not just from the ocean, but from hidden locations all across the planet. The sky was soon filled with the sight of these enormous, powerful vessels. Admiral Kale's eyes widened in shock. "What? What is this?" he whispered, unable to believe what he was seeing. The ships were unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. They were sleek and dark, their designs ancient but incredibly advanced. For the first time, Kale felt a sliver of doubt. On Earth, the people watched in awe as the ancient fleet rose to the sky. These ships had been the stuff of legends, whispered about in secret for generations. Now they were real, and they were here to defend humanity. The president stood with his military commanders, watching the screens as the fleet prepared for battle. "We've kept this secret long enough," he said. "It's time to show the Empire what we're capable of." The ancient fleet took to the sky, moving with a speed and precision that astonished even Earth's own military. The ships soared through the atmosphere and into space, positioning themselves between Earth and the Empire's fleet. The humans aboard the ancient vessels were calm and focused, their hands moving across strange control panels, activating weapons and shields that hadn't been used for thousands of years. The Empire's ships, now facing the full might of Earth's ancient fleet, hesitated. Admiral Kale, still trying to process what was happening, barked orders to his crew. "Prepare to fire! Destroy them before they get too close!" But even as he spoke, he knew that things had changed. This wasn't going to be the easy victory he had expected. The first volley of fire came from Earth's ancient ships. Their weapons were unlike anything the Empire had seen, firing beams of energy that cut through space with deadly accuracy. Several of the Empire's ships were hit immediately, their shields unable to withstand the power of the ancient technology. Explosions lit up the sky as the Empire's fleet struggled to fight back. For the first time in his career, Admiral Kale felt fear. The humans had revealed a weapon that could turn the tide of the battle. The ancient fleet had awakened, and the Empire was not prepared for what was coming next. The battle between the Galactic Empire and Earth had begun. The sky above Earth was filled with flashes of light as the ancient human fleet engaged the Empire's ships. Earth's hidden power had been unleashed, and now, for the first time, the Empire was on the defensive. Admiral Kale stood on the bridge of his flagship, his face pale with shock. "How are they doing this?" he muttered, watching as his once mighty fleet was torn apart by Earth's ancient ships. The sleek, dark vessels from Earth moved with speed and precision, their weapons far more powerful than anything the Empire had expected. Kale's officers were in chaos, shouting reports and trying to regain control. "We've lost 3 more ships, sir," one of them yelled. "Their weapons are too strong." Kale slammed his fist on the control panel. "Fight back," he barked. "We are the Galactic Empire. We will not be defeated by these humans!" But on the battlefield, it was clear that the tide had turned. Earth's ancient fleet, controlled by calm and focused human pilots, was pushing back the Empire's forces. The humans had never fought in space before, not like this, but their ancient technology was more than enough to level the playing field. The people of Earth had been underestimated for too long, and now they were showing their true strength. In one of the ancient ships, Captain Zara, a veteran pilot who had trained her entire life for this moment, guided her vessel through the chaos of battle. She had never flown a ship like this before, but the controls seemed almost alive in her hands, responding to her every move. "Stay focused," she called to her crew. "We've got them on the run. Let's show them what Earth can do." Her ship's weapons fired in rapid bursts, sending beams of energy toward an approaching Empire cruiser. The cruiser's shields flickered, unable to withstand the barrage. Seconds later, the cruiser exploded in a brilliant flash, sending debris flying through space. Zara's crew cheered, but she remained focused. "This is just the beginning," she said. "We need to keep pushing." Back on Earth, the people watched the battle unfold on massive screens. Cheers erupted in cities across the planet as they saw their ships defeating the enemy. For the first time, the people of Earth felt hope. They had been afraid of the Empire's power, but now they saw that the Empire was not invincible. In the underground command center, the president stood with the military commanders, his eyes fixed on the battle. "We're not just fighting for survival," he said, his voice strong. "We're fighting for our future. We've shown the galaxy that Earth will not be conquered." The Empire's fleet was now in full retreat, trying to regroup, but Earth's ancient ships pressed the attack. Admiral Kale, watching his ships fall one by one, knew the battle was slipping out of his control. "Pull back!" he ordered, his voice shaking with anger and fear. "We need to regroup." But it was too late. Earth's fleet had gained the upper hand, and the humans were not going to let the Empire escape so easily. Captain Zara's ship sped toward Kale's flagship, her eyes locked on the massive vessel. "That's their leader," she said to her crew. "If we take him out, this battle is over." Her ship fired a powerful beam of energy, aiming directly at the flagship. Kale's ship rocked as the beam hit its shields, which flickered but held. "Fire back!" Kale shouted. "Destroy them!" The flagship's guns fired at Zara's ship, but she was too fast. Her ship dodged the blasts with ease, moving in for another attack. This time, the beam struck harder, and the flagship's shields collapsed. An explosion rocked the bridge, sending Kale and his officers to the floor. Kale struggled to his feet, his face twisted in rage. "This isn't over," he hissed. "We'll be back." But deep down, he knew that Earth had won this battle. The humans had fought back with a power that no one had expected, and now the Empire was in retreat. For the first time in his life, Admiral Kale felt the sting of defeat. As the Empire's remaining ships fled, Earth's fleet held its position victorious. Captain Zara looked out at the battlefield, her heart pounding with pride. "We did it," she said softly. "We showed them." Back on Earth, the people celebrated, but they knew this was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire would not give up easily. But for now, Earth had fought back and won. The battlefield above Earth was a scene of chaos and destruction. The Galactic Empire's once mighty fleet was in disarray, desperately trying to retreat from the onslaught of Earth's ancient ships. Admiral Kale, battered and furious, stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching as his ships fell one by one. Fear gnawed at him as he realized the truth. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. "Order a full retreat!" Kale shouted, his voice strained. "We need to regroup and rethink our strategy." His officers scrambled to follow his orders, but the damage was done. The Empire's forces were scattered, and many ships were already lost or disabled. Meanwhile, Captain Zara and her crew celebrated their hard-fought victory. As their ships soared through the remnants of the battle, the crew cheered, their spirits high. "We've shown them what Earth can do," Zara shouted, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "They thought they could take us without a fight, but we proved them wrong." But the celebration was short-lived. Zara knew the Empire would not take this defeat lightly. "We need to stay alert," she reminded her crew. "They will regroup and come back. We must be ready." As the Empire's fleet fled, Admiral Kale watched helplessly as the last of his ships jumped into hyperspace, escaping the battle. He slammed his fist on the control panel, his anger boiling over. "How could this happen?" he shouted. "We are the Galactic Empire! We do not run from anyone!" His officers exchanged nervous glances, uncertain how to respond. "Sir, they were prepared," one of them finally said. "Their ancient fleet was more powerful than we anticipated. We need to assess our losses and regroup." Kale's expression darkened. "No! This is unacceptable. We cannot let them think they can defeat us. Prepare a message to the Emperor. We need reinforcements and a new plan." He turned his back on his officers, his mind racing with thoughts of revenge. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was electric. The people had never experienced such a victory. News of the battle spread quickly, and celebrations erupted in cities all over the planet. People cheered and danced in the streets, waving flags and banners. "We are free!" they shouted, their voices filled with joy and pride. In the underground command center, the president stood before a large screen showing footage of the battle. "We have proven our strength today," he said to the military leaders and advisors gathered around him. "But we must remain vigilant. The Empire will not forgive this defeat. They will come back stronger." One of the commanders nodded. "We need to prepare for their return. We've shown them we can fight, but we must also show them we are ready for anything." As the celebrations continued, Captain Zara and her crew began strategizing their next move. "We need to improve our defenses," she said. "If the Empire comes back, we must be ready. Let's ensure our fleet is at its strongest." The crew agreed, knowing that the victory could be short-lived if they did not prepare. They began making plans to enhance their ships and strengthen their defenses, determined to protect their planet at all costs. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Galactic Empire, Admiral Kale's message reached the Emperor. The Emperor, furious at the news of defeat, summoned his advisors. "How could this happen?" he demanded, his voice cold and threatening. "We have ruled this galaxy for centuries, and now we are losing to these insignificant humans?" His advisors shifted nervously, unsure how to respond. "Your Excellency, they caught us off guard," one of them said. "We underestimated their technology. We will need to strategize and gather more forces to ensure our victory next time." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "I want Earth crushed. They will pay for their defiance. Send out a call for all available ships and prepare for a massive assault. We will not allow this to happen again." As the Emperor plotted his revenge, Captain Zara and her crew prepared for the next battle, knowing that the Empire would return. The people of Earth had tasted victory, and now they were ready to fight for their future. With determination in their hearts and the strength of their ancient fleet behind them, they would stand together against the Empire, ready to defend their home. The battle was not over, but the spirit of humanity had awakened, and they would not back down.